Job chapter 1 introduces Job as a man living in the land of Uz, and it describes him as a blameless and upright man who fears God and turns away from evil. And he is so determined to live according to God's commands that he even offers sacrifices every day just in case his children have sinned. And so one day, God and Satan are going back and forth, and Satan questions Job's faithfulness, saying that he's only faithful because God has blessed him with a large family and great wealth. And so God allows Satan to test Job by a series of devastating events. God allows Satan to take away his possessions and his family, but not to harm Job himself, because if Job is dead, then there's really no point in testing his faithfulness. So that's what happened. Satan took away Job's livestock, his 10 children, and all of his servants. And despite all of this suffering that came from losing all of this, it says that Job mourned but did not curse God. He kept his faithfulness. In chapter 2 of Job, God and Satan were having a heavenly meeting again. And God made it a point to praise Job for his faithfulness despite him losing his children, his servants, and all of his wealth. But then Satan argues that Job would lose his faithfulness and his integrity if he lost his health. So God allows Satan to take away Job's health, but to not take his life. And so Satan struck him with painful sores from head to toe. And then Job's wife even urged him to curse God for this. And Job rebuked his wife for saying this or suggesting this, and said that they must accept the good and the bad that comes from God. And so despite the suffering that came from this illness, it says that he did not sin with his words. And the chapter ends with Job's 3 friends, who were named Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, arriving to try to comfort him. In Job chapter 3, Job finally expresses his deep anguish and despair for everything that he is going through, but he still did not curse God throughout this suffering. However, he did curse the day of his birth, saying that he wished he had never been born or that he had died at birth. Job questions why life is even given to those who suffer and long for death, and he says that he feels his pain is unbearable and it's without purpose. He compares death to rest and peace from the things that he is suffering through now, and it says that he is now desiring to die so that he can feel that peace. Job chapter 4 is the first instance where one of Job's friends speaks about Job's laments. And it's Eliphaz speaking, and it says that he began by acknowledging Job's past wisdom and encouragement to others and how he had lived according to God's commands, but questions why Job struggles to accept his suffering now, because he had lived so graciously in the past. Eliphaz suggests that suffering does not come without cause, so he's saying that Job sinned in some way for this suffering to be coming from God at this point.